Hi, and welcome to ASMR Chess. Now, a few of you have asked for a video covering the fundamentals of chess, and I'm happy to oblige. Also, I think that it could be a good opportunity to clear up some of the misconceptions about the royal game. You see, most non-chess players perceive the game as one of ruthless logic and believes that chess capability and mathematical talent are one and the same. And while chess is indeed governed by the beautiful rules of logic, the way humans play it rely much more on language. Believe it or not, you can dramatically increase your chess strength by simply learning a few words and their meanings. The object of this video will be just that. What is going through your mind when you play chess? Are you anxiously scanning the board, trying to imagine how it would look if this happened and then this happened and then this happened? If so, then I have good news for you. First, relax. We want to make it as easy as possible. You see, chess is a game about thinking, so in order to improve, we will examine the way we think. You will notice that how you find your way in the world depends very much on the words you know. If you want to enter a room, you will look for a door, because you know the word door and the functions associated with it. Playing chess without knowing the basic chess vocabulary is like an infant without a language stumbling around the world. Today, we will learn just 3 words, but those words are assigned to the most fundamental chess tactics, and they will be very awesome for you to know. They are the fork, the discovered attack, and the pin. The fork, the discovered attack, and the pin. You will now learn what these words mean, and as a result become a much stronger chess player. First, the fork. So named because it spears multiple units just like a literal fork. This exploits the fact that your opponent can only move one piece at a time. If you attack 2 pieces in one move, he can't move both of them out of the way. All pieces can be used for forks. Here we see an example with the deadly knight. In this position, the knight jumps in and attacks the king and the queen, in one move. Let's see that again. It jumps into this square and says check to the king and attacks the queen. When you are incorporating a check into your fork, it becomes even more powerful. Look at this position. We have a rook, a king, and a knight. You can see how the rook can attack the king with the check by moving forward. In doing so, it will also attack the knight. Now you have to do something about the check. You're in trouble, black. Even the small man, the pawn, is able to fork. Here we see two mighty knights, but the pawn is ready to move a square forward and attack both of the noble knights. Only one of them can get out of the way. The queen is the most effective forking piece in that she can jump all over the board, but she is also the most valuable piece. Forking is not always good. In this position, the queen can move forward and attack both rooks, but notice that the rooks are protecting each other. That means that even though they can't move out of the way, both of them, if the queen captures one of them, she will be recaptured, so you will lose a queen for a rook. So there are positive sides and negative sides of all ideas in chess. This is the king. He can also fork. The king can be an attacking unit. In this position, you can see how he can move a square forward like this and attack both of the knights in a way similar to that of the pawn. He attacks this knight and this knight. Now we come to the discovered attack. Now you can really surprise your friends with this one. If you look closely at this position, you can see that the rook is lined up with the king in such a way that if the bishop were to move, the rook would be checking the king. Now the king would have to do something about the check, and the bishop would be free to pursue other goals. Discovered attacks can be extremely powerful, as the piece moved can make a threat independently of the piece it reveals. Like many chess tactics, they succeed because the opponent is unable to meet two threats at once. Technically, what we are seeing here is a discovered check, because the piece that is revealed is attacking the king. It could be attacking the queen, a knight, a pawn, or anything else. Let's take a look at how this works in praxis. The bishop moves out of the way and the rook gives check to the king. Now the bishop is able to capture the queen. So let's take a look at that again. Here it reveals the attack. Our next tactic is called the pin. Take a good look at this position. You will notice that the rook is attacking the queen. There is more to it than that, though, because the king is on the same line as the rook. What this means is that the queen cannot get out of the attack, because she would then expose her husband, the king, to the attack of the rook. I've put a small pawn on the board in order to protect the rook, because otherwise the queen would of course just take the rook, which in this position is actually the best move anyways, because she can't do anything else. So we have a pawn, a rook, a queen, and a king. And in this configuration we say that the rook pins the queen to the king. You could also pin another piece with a different piece. The only rule is that the most valuable piece is in the back. Here we have a different configuration utilizing the same principle. Here it is a bishop pinning a knight to a queen instead of a rook pinning a queen to a king. You will notice that the mechanic works in exactly the same way. If the knight moves, the bishop will be able to capture the queen. Now, the first case, we call that an absolute pin, because if the queen moves, we can capture the king, so that is absolutely forbidden. In this case, the knight can legally move, but in almost all cases, that would be a terrible error. Now that you know these terms that we have been discussing in this video, the fork, the discovered attack, and the pin. Now that you know these, you are talking the language of the masters. How does that make you feel? Allow me to extend a sincere invitation for you to play the most beautiful game that humanity has ever created.